So friends, today I am going to explain a very good Thai supernatural horror movie recently released on Netflix. The movie is called Attack 13. There is a shaman in this movie who did a very dangerous ritual, and the twist at the end is quite dangerous for you to watch. I hope you will like it. And recently, I have explained quite interesting movies as well as the 7th episode of Welcome to Derry, that is, the semi-finale episode. In case you missed it, go and watch it. It is a very long episode, and the finale is also coming soon, so it will also be explained quickly. You will find the link to all the videos in the comments below. So, let's go straight to the video without any delay. So, the story begins in a forest where we see a shaman who is catching some insects like centipedes, scorpions, etc., and putting them in a pot. At the same time, she also puts a snake inside this pot, and she did all this to perform a ritual. There was someone else with her who was doing this ritual. This shaman then chants something and turns the pot upside down, from which all the animals come out, after which the shaman catches the centipede and asks the person doing the ritual if she really wants to summon this ghost. And now the scene cuts right here. It's obvious that every shaman always asks here whether he has to do this or not, but it's obvious that I think whoever was there who was doing this must have done it. Maybe this movie would have been a little bit better. Now, from here we see the scene from a week ago, how everything finally happened up to this point, where we see a high school volleyball team, and the captain of the team is named Bosaba. Here, Bosaba plays very well and makes her team proud. After that, she calls a girl from her own team named Ya to talk to her. Now we see here that Bosaba was a good player, but she was also a cat girl, and her talent went to her head. She was a very sad girl who is torturing Ya here. Now she ties her neck with a belt and turns on the shower on Ya, and she was doing all this because Bosaba had asked Ya for money because her dad was very rich, but she did not bring the money, and her reason was that she had not asked her dad for money yet, and it is obvious why ask for money. Well, now a girl named An was watching all this, and she hides after seeing Bosaba. When Bosaba leaves, An frees Ya. Now the next day, Ya doesn't come to school because she's afraid. Then An comes in her place and says that she has not come to school because she's sick and her father has not given her money yet. Here, Bosaba suspects her, and then An tells her the truth that she has not come here because she is afraid of him. Then Bosaba gets even angrier at An and starts to torture her because yesterday she helped her here. Here she tells her that she should bring her to the volleyball gym this evening, and in the meantime the teacher comes there and Bosaba stops seeing her. The teacher had brought a new student with her whose name is Jin. Jin is known to the kids there because she was the captain of the famous volleyball team and has been on TV many times. And Jin, who is who she is, came to the school because her mother recently transferred here. That is, she recently transferred here. All the kids were very happy to meet Jin except for Bosaba. It is obvious that she was his opponent. Now the teacher makes Jin sit next to An. An and Jin were sitting together at lunch, where An starts telling Jin about Bosaba, but then a girl named Hung comes there, who Jin knew long ago because they studied together in middle school. They start talking, and then Bosaba throws the food she ate on Hung and tells him that his shoes are dirty, and Hung was so scared of her that she even cleans his shoes. Seeing this, Jin understands what kind of girl Busaba is. She is a cat. After that, Sen comes to the evening where Busaba was practicing volleyball. An, Hing, and Jin were also there. In the meantime, Ya comes there and Ya starts telling Busaba that she needs one more day. But Busaba hits her with a volleyball and she does it again and again. But immediately, now Jin stops the ball and challenges Busaba to volleyball. If she loses, she will bow down to him. But if she wins, then he will have to leave her alone. Here, Busaba accepts the challenge, but the poor thing loses the first time, which makes her mouth drop. She comes to hit Jin, but the coach comes and takes her away from there. Now, the next day, Hing is in the canteen. She gives treats to Ya, Jin, and An. Here they talk to each other and Hing tells how she met Jin. Actually, in middle school, a girl used to bother Hung and Jin, who used to be a cat. But one day, Jin fought back where she saved Hung along with herself, and that's where she knows Jin. An says that there are so many people. If she wants, she can beat Busaba because Jin had beaten the cat before. Hearing this, Jin gets a little worried, after which she asks him if the teacher doesn't say anything to him. And then it comes out that Busaba has actually impressed the teacher and everyone because she made the school's name famous in volleyball. Well, now Jin's skirt gets dirty while eating, so she went outside to wash it, where she meets a boy named Gun. On seeing him, Jin falls for him, but he was Busaba's boyfriend. But after seeing Jin, he also takes interest in her, and it's obvious that who would want to be with a girl like Busaba? Anyways, An comes there and Gun leaves from there. An tells that this is Busaba's boyfriend and that she should stay away from him. Now, on the way, Busaba stops Jin and takes him to the roof to talk to him, where she goes and talks to Jin to end the enmity and tells him that he should not fight with her because the coach has explained to him that if she fights, she will be kicked out of the team. And here, Jin thinks a little and remembers her past when she was fighting with that cat girl alone. That cat girl wanted to attack Jin with a stone, but Jin threw the girl down from the roof, which killed her. And remembering this, Jin is still living in guilt, and that's why she befriends Busaba. Now, Jin comes to the house where she started chatting with Gun. Well, she was advised to stay away from Gun because he was Busaba's boyfriend. Here, Jin was so crazy that she sent Gun a photo of her thigh, and here we get to know Jin's attraction, how she started liking him at first sight. Now what happens is that Gun asks Jin to meet him tomorrow, and in the meantime, Jin gets a call from An, who asks him what Busaba said to her. Then Jin tells him that they have made an agreement. Now the next day, Jin goes to school where Busaba comes to her. Busaba tells her to go with her. She has some work to do. She can't go alone, but she says that she should take her friends, to which Busaba tells her that her friends are not here yet. Then Jin asks her to go with her boyfriend. Then she tells him that she is angry with him because she caught Gun chatting with another girl. Here, Jin agrees to go with her, and we know who he was chatting with here. It's obvious that he was chatting with Jin. Well, now Busaba brings her inside a mansion, and this mansion was actually a prostitution home. Busaba did something that no one could even think of doing, neither did Jin expect it. Here, Busaba brought Jin to sell her. She leaves with the money, and when Jin tries to leave, a man stops her. That is, Jin had no idea that she had been sold. Now, Jin has a butterfly knife, so she somehow escapes from him, and then the next day, she comes to Busaba. She tells him that she sold her for prostitution. Here, Jin was angry and had a knife. Busaba's friend was recording her. Busaba says that she has no proof of this. An, Ya, and Yang were also standing there, who were standing there in fear. Now, Jin feels very bad seeing this, so she leaves from there. After which, she calls her mother and tells her that she does not have to stay inside the school, because everything was happening here like in the previous school. On which her mother says that she cannot run away from her problem like this, and she will have to face it. Saying this, her mother cuts the call. In the meantime, she gets a message from Gun, who was calling her to meet her, and she says yes. Meanwhile, Gun was playing volleyball.
That's when Busaba also waits for him there. Well, now after playing volleyball, he comes to Busaba, and then she tells him that if he's free today, she wants to take him out for a treat and she will show him a movie, and all the expenses will be on his behalf. But he puts her off by saying that his mother is unwell, she has to go somewhere else, but Gun had to meet Jin. After which in the evening, Gun was chatting with Jin, and after chatting he would call her, but Jin was hiding. Well, now in the middle of it, Busaba comes to Gun and seeing him chatting, she thinks that he is chatting with another girl. So she throws his phone away and then Gun goes and gets angry with her. He shows her his real face. He pushes her and says that Busaba does not think that they will get married at all, because he will forget her as soon as he graduates, and here he insults Busaba and leaves from there. But Busaba comes to him after a while and steps on him in anger. Yes, and a gun was missing from this. And this matter reached the principal. The principal considers him a good student, but what he did was an attempt to murder, and they could not let this thing go like this. Obviously, action will be taken against Busaba now. But before that, Busaba hangs herself in the volleyball gym and dies. Yes, now all the students who were there were shocked because a girl like Busaba, who was here, used to kill other people. She was one of those who took other people's lives, not one of those who took her own. And Jin is very affected by all of this, because somewhere or the other it all happened because of her. Or we can say that she thought so. Obviously, she had a lot of attraction towards Gun here, so maybe that's why Busaba ended up here. It seemed to him that somewhere or the other Gun behaved like this with Busaba. Because of this. Now here these people watch a video in which Busaba was walking down the stairs with a rope in her hands, and this was the same rope with which she ended herself. Well, now that night Jin goes to Busaba's funeral with her friends. The main scene is another, and we see a lady who was performing a ritual at the spot where Busaba ended, and something strange happens because of this ritual. All the people sitting in the funeral hear the sound of someone crying loudly, and everyone gets very scared by this sound. And suddenly the lights also turn off. Well, now suddenly, due to a strong gust of wind, the casket that was Busaba's had fallen, and Busaba's body comes out of it and comes in front of Jin and opens its eyes. And now the scene cuts here. Well, now that night, Jin, Anya, and Hung sleep together. Jane was already scared by the casket accident. Then the three of them take care of her and explain to her that everything is okay. While sleeping at night, On opens her eyes. Then she sees Busaba hanging above her. The liquid from her mouth falls on On's face, which makes her scream loudly. But they all wake up and everything becomes normal. On tells them all this, but they all consider it a bad dream, because after what happened to them, dreams are inevitable. After that, On falls asleep, but as soon as she puts her head on the bed, she reaches the wall where the same rope was inside her throat, and she starts screaming very hard. Whatever rope is there, she hits it hard on the wall, due to which On's head is crushed against the wall. But all this was again On's dream, but there were definitely marks on his throat. That means that whatever happened must have been true. Now the next day, all these volleyballs freeze, where it was the ritual equipment, and the coach asks to clean the equipment. But the maid forbids him to do this work because it was all the ritual equipment and she was not going to touch it. There was also Jin, Anya, and Hung. Now here she asks the maid about this ritual. Then the maid tells that this ritual is done to summon the spirit. That means it is called the ghost summoning ritual. In it, the ghost comes and stays for 3 days, during which 2 days he scares his sinner or enemy, and on the 3rd day he destroys everyone.
Hearing this, everyone got scared. Well, now while practicing, Ya sees Busaba, who was hanging above, and then her head separates from her torso, and her torso comes down and starts coming towards here. Just then, Busaba's head also came near here, and Ya gets very scared seeing her. She starts running, after which everyone takes care of her. But in the meantime, she sees a noose around her friend's neck, which she attacks him. Then they all calm Ya down. Now she brings him to the bathroom and washes her face here and tells them all these things, and everyone was thinking it was a hallucination. Well, in the meantime, that maid comes there and says that what she said turned out to be true, after which that maid strangely climbs on the basin and starts hitting her head with the glass, due to which blood was flowing from her head. After which she writes on the glass with this blood, "Die, die in Agni," and seeing this, everyone was scared, and that maid also suddenly disappears. That is, this whole thing was being done by the spirit of Busaba. Now suddenly the lights go off, and after a while the maid comes in front of them and starts attacking them, and it was clear that she has been possessed now. Well, here she attacks them, but everyone tries to open the door, when in the meantime the door opens, which was opened from outside by a gun. Gun starts taking all of them with him, and he takes them to a shaman, where he talks to the shaman, and the shaman says that this spirit is a revenge spirit. What did they do that the spirit has become so dangerous? To which he says that she was already crazy. Here the problem was big, so the shaman calls for his secret dagger, and he starts looking for a solution to the problem with concentration. But then the shaman starts to step on himself, and this must have been the spirit of Busaba. Here, the shaman tells them that they will first have to wash the ritual equipment with holy water, and after that, they will have to eliminate the person who performed the ghost summoning ritual, and only then will it all end. After which, the shaman gives these people holy water, which is nothing but the urine of a virgin, that is, of a virgin girl. Well, now the scene changes, where everyone was present in one place, and they were wondering who was the one who had revived Busaba, that is, who had summoned his spirit. Now here they are pretending, but here they are doubting that his father, who was there, did this. But the point was that why would his father do this? Because he did not like Busaba at all. Here the matter was very complicated. Now the next day, Jin sees a lady outside Busaba's room who was a working lady. Jin asks her if someone came here to stay, but no one came there. Then she sneaks into Busaba's room using an excuse, where she finds his tablet, which she was trying to open, but it does not open. But then she tries Busaba's favorite number, which was 13. Now she writes 13 twice, which finally opens it. Now Jin sees a message on his telegram with which Busaba used to talk often, and whoever was in front knew black magic, because this person in front had given many things related to black magic to Busaba before so that he could pass. And here she asks him who he is. In the meantime, she sees someone's shadow outside the window, which was Busaba's. She gets very scared of him, and her eyes go to the bed where there are marks of foot pressure. Now the jinn falls in the commotion, after which the spirit of Busaba starts laughing seeing her, and then she picks up a knife, and as soon as the art is behind her, she turns back and stabs. But it was the working auntie who was saved because she was holding a box. And the knife was stuck in that box. If it wasn't for that box, Auntie's work would have been finished today. Well, on the other hand, everyone was taking exams, but Jin hadn't come there yet. In the meantime, the spirit of Busaba comes there to take his paper, and the whole class sees this spirit, and everyone gets very scared, including the teacher. So all the students and the teachers sit in the volleyball gym. Everyone was very scared that only then does the spirit come there, and Jin finds out everything from his friends. Only then does the principal and the coach come there and calm everyone down. Jin and Gun knew that the coach had an affair with Busaba, and maybe that is what brought him back to life. Jin and Gun ask him about Busaba's ritual, and he asks this loudly in front of everyone and says that they know that he had an affair with Busaba. Well, now here the coach is suddenly possessed by the spirit of Busaba, and the coach starts saying that yes, he had an affair with Busaba, and everyone knows it, and after saying that, he opens his pants, but he had regained consciousness because Busaba had gone inside him. After that, they all see the spirit of Busaba, which was hanging, and everyone got scared seeing it, so everyone runs away from there. Well, now after that, Jin, Gun, Hung, and An go to the house of the father of Busaba because he was the last one who summoned the spirit of Busaba. Now, when they go there, they find many ritual items, which they understand that it was he who summoned it. They collect all the ritual items so that they can pour holy water on it. But in the meantime, the father of Busaba suddenly attacks them because they entered his house without telling him. But they pour this holy water on the father of Busaba, which makes him run away and escapes through a window. But his foot slipped and he fell on a sharp object, which kills him on the spot. This made these people immortal because now he is finished. As the shaman had said, if the spirit summoner is killed, they can escape. After which they go to the shaman who is already in the hospital. In the hospital, they give the shaman the equipment, what was left of Raquel, so that he can check if they did the right thing or not. The shaman tells them that they did a great job, and this makes these people immortal. Then Gun and Jin go to the temple together, but on the way back, Jin remembers that she forgot her phone there, and so she goes to get it. But on her way back, she sees some incense sticks at the shop, and upon asking, she finds out that these items are used to drive away or keep ghosts away, and these are the same items she saw at Busaba's house, and they had poured holy water on these items. The witches say that Busaba's father did not perform any ritual. He just kept the ghost away. This means that their nightmare is not over yet. Thinking all this, the jinn gets scared, so she quickly starts going to the gun. Now only then do we see the second end, we see the shaman, who is destroyed by Busaba's spirit. Now, what the shaman said here that he did a good job was said because of Busaba, so that the jinn and the rest could be misled, and they could think that everything was fine. But now it was his turn to die, because there were 2 minutes left until 12, and being after 12 meant that the third day was coming. That means the day of death will begin now. Well, now Jin quickly starts going to Gun, but Gun already had Busaba's spirit and she was in his back seat. She puts her finger in his eyes and starts driving the car, and she makes the car have an accident. Just then, Jin came there and she wanted to save Gun, but Gun was stuck inside the car. Then Jin breaks the car window and throws him half out, but Busaba's spirit starts the car again, and this time Gun's head is outside the window, so in speed he hits a wall, due to which his head was separated from his torso. Well, now here Jin tells this to An and Hung and asks them to meet at Busaba's place. That is where she ended up. The second one, and here we see someone throwing a stone at her window. Now she thinks it might be wool, so she opens the window and looks. Then she sees someone standing below. A car had its lights on as it passed. She can see it, which is Busaba's spirit. Now she starts making a video of it to confirm this thing, and then Busaba's spirit appeared in front of her, which scares her a lot. But then Busaba attacks her, and she sticks a pin in her eye, which is halfway in. Then Busaba puts her face voice in front of her door and then calls her mother in a Ya voice, saying that she's in danger. Then her mother opens the door and the pin hits the door and goes all the way in, and then Wool is killed on the spot. That is, she was killed by her own mother. Well, now on the other hand, we see An and Hung, both of whom were very sad because they were at the volleyball gym at that time, when Jin called them to Busaba's house. But Hung said that she can fix everything from here because this is where Busaba was killed. Now Hung had told An that Jin is coming here too, but Jin has not arrived yet, so she messages Jin to come to the gym. Meanwhile, Jin comes to Busaba's father's house to investigate. Then she finds an electricity bill there, which is in Hung's name. So friends, some secrets are revealed here. Actually, this house did not belong to Busaba's father. He had taken it on rent from Hung, but Hung has not told him this till today. There's a reason for this too, which you will find out in a while. But here, Jin had already understood that Hung had done something wrong. Then Hung, who happens to be the one who puts her and An's blood on her, and she was doing all this to summon the spirit of Busaba. And as soon as she finds out, An starts asking her why she is doing this. Then Hung tells her that it is because they had finished Busaba together. And friends, now here is where the real story of this movie opens. In fact, Busaba did not finish herself. We are shown a scene from the past, where Jin, An, and Ya were together, and Gun was with them. But then Busaba comes there and attacks Jin, because Jin had taken everything from her, including her boyfriend. Busaba attacked Jin, but Gun stopped her. She told him that she herself was also in the coach's circle. She was having an affair with him. Hearing this, Busaba gets even angrier and tries to attack Jin again. Then the Jin pushed her and Busaba's throat hit a pipe, which caused Busaba to choke and was killed on the spot. And none of them wanted to kill Busaba, but then the Jin starts saying that she was a bad girl and that she had ruined everyone's lives, so she wants to die. After which, these people hung Busaba from a rope, but before that, they had made a video in which they had made Ya wear a wig and made her exactly like Busaba, and in it, Ya was going up with a rope. This proved that Busaba had killed herself. But how did Hung know all this? So the Hung who was here was not the one who had summoned Busaba from this forest shaman. That is, whoever he was in the beginning was none other than Hung, who had this ritual done by the shaman here. And I would like to tell you that this ritual started when the funeral was over. At that time, Hing had gone there in the middle of the funeral. Obviously, she had gone to perform the ritual. Well, now the scene comes back to the present tense, where the spirit of Busaba and Hing hang the wool together, after which the Jin comes there, and the Jin also knew everything that this was all Hing's work. Now she asks why he did this. Then Hing tells that she loved Busaba. Yes, she liked it when she used to fuck him, and that was the reason that here she summoned the spirit of Busaba. That is, she was a lesbian. And here, Hing also knew about the scene in the middle school when the Jin killed the cat. But this made Hing feel lonely, and then he found Busaba here in the new school. After listening to her, everything became clear that Hung was a little crazy. She used to admire being a cat. It gave her peace. Well, now here, the one who had that shaman's dagger, that is, the secret dagger that she had secretly taken from the hospital, she attacks Hung.
But Hung also had a sharp object with this same ritual centipede on it. Now Hung stabs this object at Jin's feet, but Jin cannot attack it because Busaba has caught her hand. But Jin takes a dagger in his other hand and stabs Busaba first, which makes her unconscious. That is, a dagger could also make spirits unconscious. And then after that she cuts Hung's throat, but Hung is alive. Now Jin asks her what object she used to perform the ritual. She should tell her or she will finish her off. But here Hung controls her and Busaba is also supporting her. Hung now stabs this object deeply into her stomach, due to which the centipede went into her stomach. And what did that mean? It meant that now Busaba's spirit would come inside Jin. That is, permanently, the body of the Jin had now become that of Busaba. After which we see the school scene where the Jin was sitting, but actually there was Busaba's spirit inside her. Then, only then does Hung come there, and Busaba, that is Busaba in the form of a Jin, asks her to clean her shoes, and Hung was doing this thing happily. They say that nowadays there's no time for goodness. It is absolutely true. Now the Jin wanted to do good to Hung here, but she did not like it. Basically, if we look at it here, Hung was mentally ill. At the same time, she was a lesbian. She also loved Busaba here. And in this cycle, she did all this. And boom, with her the Attack 13 movie ends here. So friends, this was the story of the Attack 13 movie. Now look, in the ending, the spirit of Busaba, she got the body of Jin, which means that she will also become a good volleyball player, will be good in studies, and she always wanted it like that. Talking about Hung, Hung got Busaba again in the form of Jin, and there she liked being a cat very much. She also loved him, on whose foot this cycle will continue to run here. But in reality, no one knows, only Hung knows. She knows the shaman, or she knows the spirit of Busaba here. And I think that the different insects that were used in the starting, maybe they were used to put the spirit of Busaba inside different people, but ultimately here Jin's body was selected in the end because only Khali was left. So I hope that now you have understood the whole movie well. If you understand, then like the video. If you're new to the channel, then subscribe. And if you have not yet seen the semi-final episode of Welcome to Derry, then watch it quickly because the finale is also coming soon. You may not understand anything. And recently, quite interesting films have also been explained. Everyone has missed these. Go and watch them all. The link is in the comment section. We'll definitely check the comment section. So I will meet you all in the next video. Until then, stay tuned.